Hi guys, Top Pops here, and today we're going to be going through all of my Pop Rocks. I don't know if you guys can see me. Oh, here I am on the side here. Hi guys, we're going to be going through all of them today. I put all of them on the table just to show you how many I have. I think it's like 30 or 40, something like that. I have a bunch of them in box, and then some of them that just don't have boxes, and some of them that are out of boxes. So I guess, let's get started. I guess we'll just jump into this with the out-of-box ones first, because there's a good amount of them here, and, you know, it's hard to just put these ones in with the rest of them because there's no boxes. So, we'll just get started with these ones. Let's start with this right here. This is the A-Team van with B.A. Baracus. Now, this is an amazing figure. This is one of those ones that came out right towards the beginning of them making Pop Rides, and it looks really great. The one thing that this reminds me of right away is the Goldbergs episode, where Barry buys the A-Team van. I think it's a replica of it, or I don't know if it's not the real one, because it was a really ratty van, but I thought it was really funny that they did put that in the show as one of the episodes. So you guys can even see, this is a character where it actually comes out of the Pop Ride, and this is what the older ones did. I know a lot of the new ones don't, and you'll see that later on when I show off the rest of the ones we've got over there, because a lot of them do not come out of their rides, and I think that makes a lot more sense, because it makes them, you know, nicer, they have better poses, where this one here is just pretty much B.A. Baracus, or Mr. T, just kind of standing there with the fists to the side. It doesn't look that great. And then, when it comes down to it, it also has the hole in the top of it for the ride. And I feel like some of the ones that they made back then like this, they wouldn't have been able to do now with the way they're doing it. Maybe they would have to like do like a little hole in the front with like his face sticking out of it. I don't know how they would have done it, but still, it would have been kind of awkward. But I'm sure Funko would have figured it out and it would have looked great. But it is really cool to see older ones a little different. Alright guys, so after that one right there, we have this one. Let's do this. This is from Song of the Deep, and this is Marin with SS Aaron. Now this is a weird one because this was for a game that I believe it was PlayStation came out with, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a little different because it's an actual like submarine that she creates in the video game. I actually played this game for a little while, never finished it. It was an okay game. It wasn't my favorite or anything like that, but this is pretty cool to have this kind of like, you know, makeshift submarine turn into a pop. And it's cool because it's got the bottom that comes off there as well, so if you wanted to make it like and take photos and stuff like that, you could take better ones without the base. This is actually one that I gave to my grandpa because he's a huge fan of boats and trains and stuff like that, so that's why I actually don't have my Harry Potter with the Hogwarts Express here, because he's got that one at home. Actually, he had it in his room, and we couldn't find Harry Potter, so I have this one. I'll pop it on screen right now, but I just could not find it for the life of me. I wanted to show you guys the train, but I didn't have Harry Potter, so it's really tough, so I just kind of gave up on it. But then this one comes with Marin, and this one looks pretty good. This is the only way you can get Marin is inside of this Pop Ride right here. It's not worth much. It's worth like $7, but I'm pretty sure I got it for like 20 at the time, and it was okay. I was a big fan of the game at the time, so I don't really care that I paid more for it, but that was like retail at the time. But yeah, it is a really odd one for a game that you probably didn't know about. Alright guys, so this is one of my most expensive Pop Rides here, and I actually do have a box for it. It's just really, really damaged, so I take it out and I kind of display it on the shelf in the middle room over there where we kind of do other videos. But this one is Marty McFly with the DeLorean. I love this figure, and you guys can see there it actually does come out of the box. So they did make a Marty McFly that didn't come in the DeLorean, but it's still cool that you can have them together as well. And I kind of wish they did it like the Dorb, where instead of coming with Marty McFly, it came with Einstein. I think that would have been really cool. Maybe had like Einstein sitting in the DeLorean right there. But yeah, this one's kind of weird because it does have a, it's got like a hole in the bottom of it, so it kind of reminds me of like a bath toy or something like that. You can see down there, it does have like a hollow center to it. And then on the back here, guys, it's got the California license plate that says out of time. I think that's a great addition to this. Just overall, this car is really well done, especially for being like an older Funko product, where sometimes they didn't have too much detail. And like I had said, all of the older ones used to be just like fists to the sides like this, where now they do ones where it's like there's literally Marty McFly on the hoverboard, like floating, where this one he's just kind of, you know, whatever, kind of in that normal kind of pop pose. And then he does sit inside the DeLorean as well. I think I would love to see a redone version of this one, now with it being the, what is it, the 35th anniversary, I think it is this year. That's why they're coming out with all of the other Back to the Future figures. I think it's the 35th anniversary, but it'd be really cool to see another one of these, maybe with like Doc driving the car on the inside with like fire coming out of the back. That could be really cool, or like a light effects one. I don't know, because Funko's become so advanced with their pops, now with having all of these sound effects and light up stuff like that, I feel like they could do like a crazy, crazy job with this one, and I would love to see it redone, but I also love the classic one as well. Here's one that I actually forgot that I had until today. I was digging around my room looking for some of these ones. It took me like 8 bags to get them all here because I had a bunch of them at home because I just never brought them over when I moved to the office. So here's one that I've got right here. This is Jesse Pinkman in the crystal ship. It's got a little bit of dust on the top of it, but you can hardly see it. But this right here is cool because I don't know how they would have done this in the new way they're doing Pop Rides. So here's Jesse Pinkman, and this one is exclusive to this where he's got like the money in his hand. I think that's the only difference. He might have a different hoodie on as well, like a different color, but I'm not sure. Then here is the crystal ship is what they're calling it, which is pretty funny. So this one on the back here, you can see the license plate is actually crystal right there, like it is with the DeLorean, how they put the specific license plate. It's a really great touch that they did that. A while back, I actually had to do a school project where I took a bunch of clips from this and edited together to make it whatever type of trailer I wanted, and I made it like an action movie trailer, and I took every single explosion and gunshot that they gave me from the clips that they put together in like a 10-15 minute kind of like compilation, and one of the ones that I actually used was the bullet holes in the side of the crystal ship. So it's really funny that they did add those to the pop as well. You guys can see there, it's got the cracked window as well as the bullet holes right there. It's a really great touch for this, and they also put like a bunch of mud splatter all over it. It just looks exactly like it does in the show. I just think it's a little wide. But I mean, it does make sense because they have to fit a pop inside of it, so I'm not complaining. I just think it's kind of funny. Alright guys, next up here, we have a pretty good one. This one's from Fast and the Furious, and this is Dom Toretto in the Charger, and this is a really great figure. So you can see here, this is again, just kind of like a simple one of Dom right there. I think this is pretty much the same one that came with, you know, just him by himself, but they put it into the car. It might have been a different outfit because they like to do that where they switch up the outfits, but I mean, you're getting a whole car with it as well, so it is pretty cool. You can see on the license plate, they got the personalized one that says LA on the back there, which is pretty cool. And then this one in general just looks really great. It looks exactly like a Charger does in real life, especially like the one does in the movies. So I think this is a really great figure and kind of like combo that they should have done because they made them for, I don't remember which movie they were doing it for. Was it the 6th movie? I don't remember. It was a while back. I'm not exactly sure which one they were doing it for. It might have just been in general Fast and the Furious. But anyways, this is a really great one. And also notice that these tires kind of feel a little bit different. Like they feel like kind of rubbery in a way. They don't turn at all. And I kind of wish they did because it would be cool. But then I feel like they'd be rolling off a lot of shelves. So there's like ups and downs to both. I would like them to move and roll, but then they'd probably roll off the shelves. And it turns into more of a toy than a collectible at that point. But still, this is an amazing figure. And I'm glad I picked it up. Alright guys, next up here we have Michelangelo in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bus/van. I'm not exactly sure what they call it, but it's like the van here. It's the pizza van, which is really, really well done. I'm a big fan of this one. This one is a really expensive one as well. I think this one's like $75. I'm a huge fan of this. And they did make it a little bit different here where he actually comes with a piece of pizza in his hand. So that was the exclusive part to this figure, which is really funny. So if you guys wanted to get this one with the pizza instead of his weapon in his hand, I don't remember which weapon he used. Was it nunchucks? Something like that. It's really cool that you could get it like an exclusive version with the pizza. And this, I think, the only way you can get somebody with the pizza. None of the other ones do hold pizza in their hands. So it's just this one here inside of the turtle van. And the van is really well done as well. This one was for the cartoon that was out on Nickelodeon, I think, at the time. But yeah, it does look really great. It's got a lot of cool detail. And this was one of the first Pop Rides they did. It might have been like, I want to say like 7 or 8 in the line. And now they're up to like 54, 55. I'm looking at some other numbers over there. 71 is pretty high up there. So for it being like 4 or 5, one of the first ones they did, it looks pretty great. Also, just to let you guys know, I'm going to be jumping around a lot with these Pop Rides because there's too many of them to go in order. So sorry about that. Alright, first up here we have this one. This is the smallest Pop Ride, I think, ever. So this is literally fitting inside of a normal sized box. This is Deadpool on scooter. It's a really great one, don't get me wrong. It's just kind of small. I like the figure, but they also charge the same price as a normal Pop Ride. So at EB Games, this was like 25, 30 bucks. That's the only reason it took me so long to get it. Then when it finally went on sale, I picked it up because it was a little bit pricey, but it's still a great figure. And I guess they were doing it because they charge more depending on what it's called in the system, I guess. So like Pop Rides are just like 20 to 30 bucks or whatever, where normal size Pops are, I don't know what it is, 10 to 15. So I guess in the system it came up as like $25 because it was a Pop Ride, but then when it got there it was this size. So they should have fixed the price, but maybe they also had to pay more instead of, you know, I don't know. I don't know why it was so expensive. Really guys, the only thing that was different on this one was that it said Rides here. If it didn't say that, I would have just considered this a normal size Pop and I would have paid like 10 bucks for it, but I guess it was a little bit more expensive. Alright guys, this next one here is actually SpiderMan with SpiderMobile. I love this figure, and this one I actually got from K-Dog and Fish as a gift. So guys, thank you so much over at K-Dog and Fish. But right here, This thing is amazing. I love this one. It's so cool and detailed, and this one was just one of those figures that I could never find, and then they finally got it for me, so it was really great when I finally could get it. It does say on the back there, Spidey, New York, so that is pretty cool. You guys can see the license plate. And this one's just kind of colorful, and I actually had no clue that Spider-Man had a mobile, like kind of like the Batmobile. I didn't think Spider-Man had a Spider-Mobile, but it is really cool that he does have one, and you know what? I'm not complaining. Up next here, guys, we have Azra and Buggy. Now, this was when all of the Haunted Mansion figures were coming out, and I really do like this one a lot, because I've been on this ride probably 10, 20 times. I don't know, I've been on it a lot, because we do go to Disney a lot. And whenever we would go, I would always go on the Haunted Mansion, and I am a huge fan of this one. The only thing I wish about this one was that the Ezra glowed in the dark, but other than that, this thing looks really great. And this is him in the Doom Buggy. Too bad it doesn't say Doom Buggy on the front, it just says Buggy. But yeah, this one's really, really cool. So this is towards the end of the ride when they're doing the hitchhiking ghost, because it says beware of hitchhiking ghosts, and then they do like almost like a projection where it looks like when you're looking in the mirror, these guys are sitting in the cart with you. And it's really, really cool that Funko turned this into a figure here, because it does look great. This is one of those figures that I never would have expected Funko to make, but you know what? I love it. So this next one here, guys, is Alice at the Mad Tea Party, which is the Mad Tea Party ride in Disney. So this one here is an amazing figure. So they made two versions of this one. There's Alice, and then there's also the Cheshire Cat. I don't own the Cheshire Cat because that one sold out really quickly. It was actually exclusive to WonderCon, which was just recently, actually. So that's cool that they did make two of them. I hope they make like the Mad Hatter would be cool as well to see in this one, maybe in a blue teacup, because this one's a purple one, and then for the, I think it was yellow for the Cheshire Cat, if I'm not mistaken. So both of them would look really great together. Eventually it'd be cool to make like, I wonder if somebody could do this on Photoshop, where they Photoshop Alice out of here, change the teacup colors, or even just place this teacup into the ride somewhere. I feel like somebody's done that. I don't know, but if you guys have, tag me in it on Instagram, or if you guys have seen it before, let me know, because I'd love to see that photo. Yeah, overall, just a really, really great figure. What I like about it, though, too, is that it looks like Alice's hair is blowing in the wind. So she's turning like you would in the ride to spin the teacup really quickly, and then her hair blows in the wind. So it looks really cool that they made it look almost like it's like she's moving or twirling or something. I don't know how they did it, but it just looks really good. Alright guys, so this next one here is Cinderella's Carriage, and it's weird because there's no real pops inside of this one, minus like the horses having like pop-ish eyes. You guys can see in the end there. It's kind of hard to see because it's in box, but they do have the eyes there. You can kind of see it on the side there. So there's no characters inside of the carriage, which I thought would have been really cool if they did do that. The one thing that I have to say about this one is I've taken this one out of the box once, and when you see the carriage there, do you guys see the horses in the front? It moves. It's kind of wobbly. I don't know, it's not too bad, but when you're trying to put it back into the box, it was hard to do because the figure doesn't stay on the end of the carriage. You actually have to hook that in. It's not a big thing, but it is kind of annoying when you want to display it back in the box again. It just kind of wobbles around in there. You guys can hear it. Hear it? It's not too bad once you close it, but it is a little annoying to get in, like I said. So yeah, overall, this is a really great one. And what I love about Funko making the Pop Rides is they don't sacrifice the shape or size of the character or ride for the box. They've been changing up the boxes so much for this, so it's annoying to display them in box, but it makes him look a lot better. So I think it's really awesome that they do that. But anyways, guys, this is a really great ride. I had no clue that they were gonna ever make this one, and I thought if they would put Cinderella inside of it, but then I didn't think they would do the horses. So I don't know. It's just overall a really great ride. This next one that I've got here is actually a really cool one. So this is called Freddys Ride, but it's Freddy Funko as a taxi driver, and this one was exclusive to New York Comic Con 2016, and it's limited to 2,000 pieces. I am a huge fan of this one. They've actually made, I believe it was 3 versions of this. So there was this one, and then Freddy in a red car, and then Freddy in a blue car that was exclusive to the Funko shop. I don't remember where the red car was exclusive to. Maybe San Diego Comic Con? Something like that, not exactly sure, but I'm a huge fan of this one. Actually, my Uncle Mike, actually, who's helping me out with all the WonderCon figures and shipping them to his house, then he's shipping them to me, he got this one for me for Christmas, I think it was 1 year, so it's really awesome that I do have this one in the collection. This one's worth a little bit more than he probably would have paid for it, too. I think this is up to, like, what is it, maybe, I think it's less than I thought, maybe like 20? $30, $40. I'm not exactly sure what this one is, but it's limited to 2,000 pieces, so it's got to be up there somewhere. I don't exactly know, but I think last time I checked it was maybe $60, I think it was. I don't know, I'm just throwing out random prices at this point. But I'm a huge fan of this one. I love the way it looks, and I think the taxi looks great. This here has to be one of the most detailed pop rides I think I've ever seen. Just the way Funko did this one is amazing. So this one right here is Moana and Poo on boat, but there's also Hey Hey on here. So if you guys look closely, it's her like almost like steering the boat with the sails, and you've got Poo on the front there, and then Hey Hey kind of sitting in between her, which I think looks amazing. It's got so much detail to it, and there's just so much going on that I think it's just one of, I would say, one of Funko's best pop rides ever made. There are a couple other ones that I would say are close, which we'll be talking about in a bit, but I think this one really takes the cake. It looks amazing. I love the way it looks, especially with having 3 figures on there. They do not do that very often, even though it's technically just called Moana and Poo on boat. Hey Hey is also on there, sitting in his little like nest in the middle there, and I think it just looks so good. But yeah, this is probably my favorite Moana figure, just because of how detailed it is. Here we've got Gizmo in red car. Now in the movie, I wish they could get the license to this. I don't think they could, but it was actually, I think it was a Corvette, if I'm not mistaken. But this one still looks really great. It's just too bad they couldn't have got the specific license to the car. But I'm a big fan of the Gizmo one. I love how his feet don't actually touch the ground. It's kind of hard to see, but if you guys look closely, I hope you guys can see it in the box there. His feet are not touching the ground. I think that's the funniest part. He's got his hands on the steering wheel. He's driving really quickly, and this is an example. I mean, there's been a bunch of them that have shown off, but I didn't mention it. This was an example of one of those ones where he cannot come out of the car. They actually have him stuck in there, and it looks a lot better with his hands on the wheel instead of it being like a little cutout in the front and then he's just kind of standing there like this. It really does make them look a lot nicer. I mean, you guys can also see on the back here, there's an illustration of him as well. I don't know if this is from maybe like an animated version. They did it instead of the movie with the Corvette. This one was a bit of a surprise because they hadn't made Gremlin ones in a long time. They did do that one that was Gizmo as a Gremlin that came with a t-shirt, but I never expected them to make just like out of the middle of nowhere Gizmo in the red car. This next one here is really great, guys. This one is Hercules and Pegasus. I'm a huge fan of this one because Hercules is a great movie, but I really like that they did this for this line. I think it's just so detailed, and it's huge as well. The wings look great on this one. They also have the other ones, which are Baby Hercules and Baby Pegasus, which look really cool. So it's kind of funny. You can have them like younger as well as grown up this way. You can't get a normal Pegasus unless you want to get Hercules riding Pegasus. So I think that's a cool way to do it. And I think what would have been really cool is this. They made a chase version of Hercules where he was glow in the dark. I think it would have been cool if they made a chase version of this one where they glowed in the dark as well. Or even if it was just Hercules glowing on Pegasus, I think that could have been cool. But overall, it's just a really great figure. And what I like about this too is that they made it so Pegasus was actually flying. They gave him like a little bit of a clear base, and then it wasn't just him standing there with Hercules on him. It was actually like his hooves and stuff are off the ground and he's kind of flying. It really does add a lot of character to the figure, and I'm a big fan of it. Alright guys, so here's another Hot Topic exclusive one, and this is Cruella De Vil in car. This one has a lot of great detail, and what I like about this too is that the car is really small, but that her head is huge, and it makes her look kind of like really angry. I don't know why, but it just adds something to it. If you guys can see there, she looks super angry, and then the back of the box, you guys can see it there, the background on it is actually her from the movie, very angry, but they gave it kind of like a, almost like a glitch kind of look to it. I don't know what you would call it, but it looks really great. You guys can see on the back there she is as well. They did like a little villains line for a little while where they did like another Ursula, and they did her, as well as I think there's the Maleficent as well. Yeah, there is a Maleficent. I'm actually looking at it right now. Spitting fire out that was exclusive to Box Lunch. So it's really cool that they did this one. It's one of those ones that I didn't really expect as well. There's only a couple things from this movie, which is 101 Dalmatians. There's this one, there's the original Cruella De Vil, and then there was their Pongo and Perdita 2-pack. What was really cool about this one though is this was one of the only times you could have got like Cruella De Vil besides like the super expensive older one. I think there was this one, the Diamond Edition one, and then maybe a 2-pack that came with Ursula and this one as well. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure. Here is probably one of my favorite pop rides. I know I said Moana's up there, but this is one of those ones that's kind of up in my top 5 at least. And this right here is the Hong Kong Phooey in the Phooey Mobile. Now this has some great detail on it. Actually, my friend Alex, or iPhone Elite on Instagram if you guys want to check him out, he helped me out with this one. I remember a while ago, he was like, give me your wish list. And then he helped me out and just found like a bunch of figures that were on there. So Alex, thank you so much for helping me out with this, because this is one of those ones that I never thought I'd be able to get. This one was an Emerald City Comic Con exclusive, limited to 3,000 pieces back in 2017. I just love the way this one looks, and this was one of the first ones that they did where he was kind of like sitting in the vehicle but could not come out of it, and you can actually see he's got his hands on the wheels and his feet are kind of like sitting on the bottom there. I like that they made the entire figure inside of there. Oh, he's standing. What the heck? I didn't know he was standing. That's weird. So I guess Hong Kong Phooey stands in the Phooey Mobile. But yeah, this is a great, great figure. I actually have the original Hong Kong Phooey as well. I think there's one that I'm missing, and I think it's Hong Kong Phooey in the black gi. Or like the black, not gi, but like, I think it's a gi. Yeah, he wears a gi, I think. Or is it just like a robe? I don't know. Anyways, still, it's a really amazing one, and I love the way this one turned out. It's got some great detail on it, and I don't know, just the top on it as well. I think that's what it is. Most of the Pop Rides don't cover the figure, and I think that's what this one really like adds to it. It's got like that little like canopy over top of them, and it's one of the first times they did it. I think they did really well with it. This next one that I've got here is the Mickey Skyliner. I'm a huge, huge fan of this one. I feel so bad. I can't remember who helped me out with this one, but somebody had sent me a bunch of them from the Disney store because I couldn't order them myself because of a Canadian credit card. It's so dumb because they're okay with shipping it to the States, but once you say you have a Canadian PayPal, they're like, oh, sorry, you can't do it. Apparently you have to have an American PayPal and an American address. So I couldn't pick these up, but somebody was nice enough. I'm blanking on your name, so let me know who you are in the comment section below. But someone was nice enough to actually help me out and get a bunch of the ones that I was missing. There was this one, as well as another one that I'll be showing next, which I was a huge fan of. So thank you so much for helping me out with this. But this one right here is the Disney Skyliner and Mickey Mouse. It's great. I love this thing. It's a new mode of transportation in the Disney parks. This one is for Disney World, and it takes you from like Pop Century to I think Epcot, as well as maybe Animal Kingdom, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't take you everywhere, but it does take you to some other spots. And this thing's just so huge. And if you look, guys, it actually has Mickey in the front there kind of sitting in the ride, and then you can see on the side there, this is what they look like. So they actually take like different characters from Disney's, you know, different movies and television shows and put them on the side of the Skyliner. So you can see on the back there, it's got the Mickey and Minnie taking a photo as well. It's kind of hard to see, but it is back there. And then it just looks really great. Then it says on the back here, there's Magic in the Air, Disney Skyliner. And then they started that in 2019, so you can see the 2019 down there. Yeah, just overall, this is a great, great pop ride. One of those ones that, again, never expected them to make, but I'm so glad they did. Here's the next one that I wanted to show off for you guys. So this one was the one that I was talking about a second ago. This is the Matterhorn bobsled and the abominable snowman sitting in it. I think this thing looks crazy, crazy cool. It's got so much detail to it as well. I love the way the Matterhorn looks with the snow on the bottom, and it's got some tracks on it as well, so it looks like it's almost like going over a hill. I think that's really great. And then the actual abominable snowman is almost like reaching out with his claw, like he's trying to get at you, because in the ride, he does kind of like, I don't know what you call it, like almost like swing around and kind of like swat at you in two different spots, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. And they also have two different tracks on that one, so they have double the amount of people that can ride on it. So it's really cool. Two different ways you can go. And I think one of them gets closer to you on one track and one of them gets closer to you on the other. I'm not exactly sure about that, but it does look really great. And this ride's been around since 1959. Disneyland guests have found themselves bobsledding down the snow. Caped slopes of the Matterhorn. Oh, snow-capped slopes. Let's try that again. Since 1959, Disneyland guests have found themselves bobsledding down the snow-capped slopes of the Matterhorn on one of the park's original e-ticket attractions. Years later, in 1978, something fierce was discovered within the icy caves, the abominable snowman. Today, generations of the Disneyland guests continue to zip down the snowy chutes Today, generations of Disneyland guests continue to zip down the snowy chutes of the iconic Disneyland attraction, which is always sure to end with a splash. Oh, right, so at the bottom, there's also that little bit of water. I don't know why they did this. It really just, they don't tell you get wet, but then at the very bottom, there's like a little bit of water, and you just kind of dip into it, and everybody gets a little wet. It's really annoying, but it is kind of funny that they do put it in there, and that they do recognize it on this pop. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this one. I say I'm a huge fan of a lot of these, but I only picked up the pop rides that I really, really enjoy, which I guess looking around is most of them. Here's the next one that I've got here, and this is the last one that I have out of almost like the Disney Parks collection figures here. So this is the Splash Mountain one, and this one looks really great. So this has Brer Bear as well as Brer Rabbit going down the kind of like larger hill, I guess you could say, or at least going down some sort of hill, because in Splash Mountain they have the two kind of like dips, I guess you could say. There's one inside, so I guess there's three. There's one inside, there's the smaller one that gets you kind of excited and started, and then right at the very end, there's that huge one that dips all the way down where they take your photo. So I'm guessing this is one of those ones because they are kind of tipped up a bit, when you guys can see like the water kind of like splashing back on them. Anyways, guys, overall, this is a really, really detailed figure, and I'm a huge fan of this one. I also like how they put like the popified version of the different animals on the front of the ride as well. This thing just looks so great. I'm a huge fan of it. Pretty much any of the Disney attraction pop rides all look really great. I don't think I'm missing any of them either. Maybe like some of the normal 3-inch sized pops that they had at the Disney parks, but none of the bigger ones. I decided to show off both of the Toy Story ones together here because they are pretty similar, and they both have the same box as well, I'm just noticing. So this one right here is the Pizza Planet truck and Buzz Lightyear. What I like about this one is the New York Comic Con exclusive. I actually have the New York Comic Con sticker as well, which is pretty cool. But this one here is a bit different from normal because Buzz is actually little sitting in the front there. You guys can see in the little like windshield there, he's tiny up on the steering wheel there, which is really funny. And then for this one here, this is Woody on RC, so it makes more sense for him to be the normal size. One thing that I really like about this one is that the RC's wheels are like bigger and rubber instead of the normal kind of like vinyl that they normally do. I think that is really great. I remember when I was looking up different figures online, I found an Amazon review on this one right here, and it was an older guy, maybe a grandfather, and he said something like, the wheels didn't turn, I think it was broken, I'm returning it 1 star. It was really funny, but I guess a lot of people don't know that these are more so collectibles than toys, so I guess it makes sense that people would be a little annoyed about it. But again, like I mentioned earlier, I don't think I'd want them to roll, just because then it turns into more of a toy than a collectible. Here's a pretty good one. This is the Speed Racer one. Now this one is funny because my brother used to be really into Speed Racer, Noah, and it was actually not the original cartoon that he really liked. He liked the live action one that they made like in the early 2000s, I think it was. He actually dressed up as Speed Racer for Halloween one year. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. But that's why we kind of got into Speed Racer. Fun fact, guys, we've never actually seen the original cartoon, but we have seen the newer, probably not as good live action movie, and it was kind of, it was okay. I haven't seen that thing in years, probably 10 years, maybe. I haven't seen that one, maybe 12, 13, I don't know, whatever it is. I haven't seen it in a long time, but this thing is really great. I like how this car looks, and I like that they don't make the pops now, or the pop rides, too bulky. With some of the older ones, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle van, I actually have it right here, they made it like a little bit bulkier. This is what the van looks like, but I'm sure they could have shrunk it down a little bit if they were to make the character actually sit inside of the ride and not have to come in and out. So with these new ones here, you know, it's got Speed Racer actually got his arm on the back here like this. He's got his hand on the wheel. It's just a lot nicer, and it's a little bit cleaner, in my opinion, than some of the older ones. But still, I'm a huge fan of this one, and I really like the way it looks. I really like the way it turned out as well. I also noticed it says Mach 5 on the back there because it says Speed Racer with Mach 5. And there are 2 other ones in the set as well. There's Speed Racer and Racer X. And then I think Speed Racer also has a chase as well. Next up, guys, we have the Rick and Morty pop ride. Now, this one here is Rick's ship, which is probably, again, one of my favorite ones. If I were to make a top 5, it would probably have Moana, the Splash Mountain one, this one, maybe Hong Kong Phooey, Mickey Skyliner, stuff like that. A lot of the greats out of this entire set. But this one here is really cool because it actually comes off with the dome. So you can take the dome on and off for this figure. I don't know why you'd want to, because the Rick doesn't come out of the seat there. He's holding onto the steering wheel, so it's a little weird that they do it. Why do I keep doing that? Anyways, it's really neat that they do that. It's really neat that they made it like that, but I just don't understand why they would make it so you could take it off and on. Maybe to dust it on the inside, but then if you don't take it off, then you wouldn't have to dust it. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but it is cool that they do it, so it's like a little bit of an added feature. One thing that I find really funny, though, is that Rick in the show is so smart. He can make all of these different, like, inventions and stuff like that, but why is his ship made of a bunch of trash? Like, his headlights are 2 lamps, or like 2 like flashlights, and then his like side, like what do you call them, like jets almost, are made of trash cans. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny that he did do that, but I guess the rest of it is like pretty professionally done. It's like an actual like flying saucer-ish type like circle there. I'm just thinking it's kind of funny because he has like a portal gun, he has all this other crazy stuff. He just has like a kind of like a trash kind of ship. I don't know. But the pop looks great. Hey, I'm not knocking the pop. I just think that's kind of funny that he doesn't have like a nice ship. But I guess it's kind of on brand. I don't know. All right, so here's another one that I'm a huge fan of. This one right here is the Ghostbusters Ecto 1 with Winston Zeddemore. So this is one of like the older ones where they actually can come in and out of the pop ride. But the one thing that I'm a huge fan of here is that it looks really, really well done. It's got so much detail to it. It's almost like the DeLorean, where they added so much detail to the actual vehicle, and I think it looks so great. It's just, I don't know, it says Ecto-1 on the license plate. They've got the Ghostbusters logos on the side. They've got like whatever's going on in the back there. The horn looks really great, and the horn is one of those like air horns on the back, which I think is really funny. So they did add all of the small details to the car, which is great. And for the original series, if you guys wanted to get Winston Zeddemore, you had to get it inside of this Ecto-1 right here. There was him in the newer wave, which I don't know where he went. He's in here somewhere. It doesn't matter where he went, but you can get him in just a normal like 3-inch box, but with the older one, they made it like almost like an exclusive character. So if you guys wanted to get all 4 of them, you would need to buy the Ecto-1, which I'm not complaining. I really wanted the Ecto-1 anyways, so that's why I got it. And this is also number 4 in the Pop Rides line, so it was one of the very early ones. If I'm not mistaken, the original one was the Batmobile, and I don't think I have that Batmobile. I have a different Batmobile, which we'll show in a second, but I never did get the original one. I actually have a protector for this Pop as well. I don't remember where I got it. It might have been a PP Joe protector that they made for different sizes, but you can see here, I do have it in a protector. I don't know why, but I guess it's keeping the box nice. Alright guys, so this is the Batmobile that I could find, and like I said, I don't think I ever did get the other one because I had the normal Batman, and then maybe I was going to pick it up one day, but then I'd find something different. I don't ever remember owning it, so I probably didn't. But this one right here is cool because this is part of the 80th anniversary, like all of these Pops here, so it's in a black box with the gold trim. This one does look really great, and I think the other Batmobile was the 1960s one, so this one here is the 1950s one, which was just before that television show one. I think this one looks great. It's even cooler than the other one in my opinion because it's got the huge like bat wing coming out the back there. I almost said Batmobile wing. It's on the Batmobile, but it's a wing coming out of the back there. And then they did do the older kind of like cowl on the figure, and you can even see like a little bat logo in the back of the car, like where the light would turn on. And then the front of the Batmobile actually has like almost like a bat mask there. Just overall a really, really well done one, and it looks exactly like it does in, I believe it was a movie television show? I don't know. Anyways, point is I've seen photos of it and it looks pretty much exactly the same. I actually found another one in a pop protector here, and I'm pretty sure, like I had mentioned, these are PP Joe protectors, but I don't know because I don't have the sticker on there. Usually I would throw a little PP Joe sticker on there because every time you got one of their protectors, it came with like a little sticker that you could put somewhere on there, and I guess I just didn't put them on them for these ones. But yeah, this is a 2015 Summer Convention exclusive, and this one was exclusive to Hot Topic outside of the convention. So this right here, I can tell I paid $44 Canadian for it, which is not bad at all. If I saw this somewhere, I would totally pay 40 bucks for it. But they made a couple different versions of this one. So this one was him in the chimichanga truck, which you guys can see there. They made this one. There was a yellow version, which is like the original chimichanga truck, and then there was a red one as well. I think it was just the 3 of them. So this is like the X-Force version of them, and then I think the other one was just like a color swap one. I'm not exactly sure why they did the red one as well, but that one was also I think it was a New York Comic-Con exclusive, maybe, something like that. I don't know, but this one was back in like 2015, so I don't even know if they were doing New York Comic-Con exclusives back then. I'm not exactly sure where it was exclusive to, but they did do one, I know that for sure. This one here was one of the earliest Pop Rides that I picked up, maybe my second or third one if I'm not mistaken. This one was the number 10 in the Pop Rides line, and this one was a lot more expensive back then. It's now worth maybe like $50, so a little bit more than what I paid for it, but it's still one of my favorites. Alright guys, so this one here is pretty cool. This is Daenerys Ondrogon, and this is one of those ones where they started to make them look like she was supposed to be sitting on there. Instead of like the older ones where it's like this one here, you can take them in and out, she could still come off, but she would be kind of like sitting on the dragon instead of just sitting like inside the dragon, if that makes sense, where he's like sitting on top of the car, but like a hole is in the middle of the car. I don't know. It looked a lot cooler though than they used to do it, where they would kind of like just have a square hole in the middle of it. But yeah, this is a really cool one. It's got a lot of great detail to it. The Drogon looks really great. I like the eyes on this one. I know they did make a version of Drogon, but I think the normal 6-inch one didn't have the red eyes. This one did. Plus, it looks like he's flying in this, so I think it makes it look a lot cooler. Alright guys, we are down to our last pop right here, and this one is the Ice Cube with Impala. This one is really, really well done. I love this one. This one was actually announced at Toy Fair this year, the New York Toy Fair, and I think it's really, really cool how they did it, because they made it where he's kind of like tilted on the side here, and he's got like the, what's it called, hydraulics in the car, and one wheel is lifted off of the ground, which I think really adds a lot of character to this figure in general, and I like that they added all the different photos of Ice Cube on the back there as well. And if you look closely, I think this one one right here, it's actually him in front of the Impala right there. A little funny story that I have is actually my grandpa and I were debating on if it was a Bel Air or an Impala, but then right on the front there, it says Impala. So I won that argument just with this right here. He was a little annoyed that I knew more car facts than he did, but really all I did was look at the front of the box. I don't know much about cars, but I do know that when it says Impala, it's an Impala. Sorry, Grandpa, if you're watching. But this is cool, too, because they actually got the General Motors license for this figure. And you guys can even see here, it says GM officially licensed product on the front there as well, right in the corner. I think it's really cool that Funko took the time to actually make it so specific that they got the license for it, could actually use like the model of the car instead of making something kind of similar like the Gizmo and Red car. And I'm sure it would have been more complicated than I know to get a Corvette license for that one. But it's really cool that they took the time to actually get the General Motors license and make it exact. Anyways, that's gonna do it. It's late. It's really late. I gotta work on this. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys want to see more from me in the future, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that. But this has been another episode of Top Pops, Popsters. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow.